Well, hello and welcome. I'm Chelsea Schwartz,
I'm Yael Teagle.
and this is Streaming Wars, the show that helps you wade through the endless sea of streaming content. And today we thought we'd make things a little spooky for you. Well, okay, we're not going to frighten you, anything like that. We're just going to talk about Halloween content. And we know a lot of you out there are excited about this, and we wanted to help you figure out, no matter what streaming service you subscribe to, what's available for you to watch. So let's get into it. We're going to start things off with Disney Plus. So Disney Plus is your home for family-friendly Halloween content.
Yes, this is the place to find Hocus Pocus, to find The Nightmare Before Christmas, to find the Twitches series, all of the Halloween towns, which I recommend watching in order. They're all available on Disney Plus. I'm so stoked for this.
Yeah, and additionally, there's a ton of Halloween-themed television episodes. Everything from your favorite Disney Channel shows to Disney Junior, a couple of Fox shows like The Simpsons. You've got everything from Hannah Montana to Sweet Life, Girl Meets World to That's So Raven. Endless sea of family-friendly Halloween content. But if you're in the mood for something more spooky, if you actually want a real fright and terror, you're probably going to want to go to HBO Max.
Yes, HBO Max has what we are calling mainstream horror. These are I would say, traditional scary movies like It, Dr. Sleep is there, Annabelle Comes Home, Leprechaun. All of the go be frightened movies are on HBO Max.
Everything that I personally will not watch is on HBO Max. And when we say Leprechaun, we mean the entire series. There's like 4 of them or something like that. And speaking of that, they also have cult classics and other franchises like the Alien franchise. And they also have the 1958 The Mummy and An American Werewolf in London and a huge selection of international foreign films. So if you have seen everything and you're looking for something new, maybe try something from a different country.
Also, they are going to be having on October 22nd, Roald Dahl's The Witches. I'm so excited about this. If you are a fan of The Witches, the classic film with Angelica Houston, then you're going to be excited for this Anne Hathaway remake of it. I'm so stoked. Only on HBO Max and then internationally in theaters.
Yes, which I believe is hitting theaters October 28th, like a week after it hits HBO Max. I'm super excited for this remake. I don't really get excited about Halloween movies. I'm excited. That's a big statement for me. All right, so next up, that brings us to Hulu. Hulu is known for Huluween, which until more recently has been more about their selection of library titles because they really bulk up for Halloween with a lot of like movies and films. But this year, they've also got a good selection of originals. We've got a couple of original films like Book of Bloods and Bad Hair. Bad Hair comes out later in October. And then we've got some series like Monsterland available now and Marvel's Hellstrom, which was supposed to be part of a series of frightening Marvel TV shows, but the whole thing's now gotten scrapped with the merger with Fox and everything else. So all we get now is Hellstrom, but enjoy it.
Yeah, you can also watch, again, classic TV that would fall under the Huluween spookiness, such as Buffy, or, of course, one of my favorites, and I know one of yours, Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Classics.
It's all Salem. Absolutely. Also, we talked about HBO Max has a great selection of international frightening films. If you're looking for more independent films, Hulu's got a great library of independent horror as well.
Yeah, let's take it over to Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix is sort of your home for originals. If you've watched everything frightening that there is and you're tired, you're bored of it, you want something new, Netflix has your originals. And especially for just this year alone, in 2020 releases, you've got films like Hubie Halloween to Vampires versus the Bronx and series like The Haunting of Bly Manor, all of which are available now.
Yeah, I love that these things range from family-ish to spooky and scary. Hubie is more comedic. It is the Adam Sandler one we talked about before. Haunting of Bly Manor, it's terrifying.
Yeah, I won't go near that, even with a 6-foot social distance pole.
But they also have a Babysitter's Guide to Monster Hunting, which is coming out on the 15th. They have other originals that you should be checking out on Netflix. They're not necessarily new, but they're still within the Halloween season, I suggest
they might be new to you. Maybe you haven't watched them yet, because there are tons of Netflix originals.
Yes, I recommend Lock and Key season 1. They have renewed it for a second season. It is a really fun, based on a comic book, fantasy. I would say for me it was a little scary, but if you're a horror person, it's not going to be scary.
Also, more recently, they just released Ratched, a brand new series. It's sort of a thriller nurse tale, if you will. I was like, so if you can handle that kind of medical intensity, that's for you. But they also have older films like 1922, which is based off of a Stephen King novel, and 4 seasons of an original show called The Worst Witch. This is more of your family-friendly, like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Harry Potter type series. And of course, there's Stranger Things.
Yes, I definitely recommend checking those out if you are looking for not necessarily brand new, but new to you originals on Netflix.
Yes. And finally, that brings us over to Peacock. Now, I know we haven't talked about Peacock much. We're going to start to hear more and more about it in the next month, from us at least, you will. And with Peacock, the thing that's fascinating here is a lot of you are probably watching going, I don't have Peacock, I'm going to fast forward the video. Wait a second. Peacock is free. There is a free tier. And with the free tier, unfortunately, you do have to watch some ads. However, and when it comes to Halloween content, you might want to sit through it, because Peacock has the entire Universal Monsters film library. We're talking all those original Dracula, Frankenstein movies, you know?
They also have pop culture hits like Beetlejuice, the Harry Potters, The Exorcist, the Zombielands. I think that if you are looking for classics horror, or classics, you know, the ones everyone's talking about every year during this season, check out Peacock.
Yeah, and not to mention, they also have the entire library for Alfred Hitchcock. So, like, this is definitely a spooky place to go. If you are a fan of Universal Studios' Halloween Horror Nights, it's going to make a lot of sense as to why Peacock has a lot of the same properties. Same company.
Yeah. Let's get into streaming roundup.
Woo, woo, woo. Yeah, so this week, we don't have a lot of new news for you guys, but the shows that we are going to talk about are like A++++. Like, you should watch these. First on my list is The Right Stuff. This just released yesterday on Disney Plus with the first 2 episodes. And from this point on, they will release 1 episode every Friday. And this is a National Geographic scripted series about the Mercury 7. And so it's a true story. If you know anything about the space program, or if you're just interested in learning more about the space program, this is a great series. The period costumes, the music, the casting, phenomenal. And as a bonus, I got to go to the premiere this week, which was the kickoff to the Disney Plus drive-in series. And every night during this week and the next couple of, I think it goes through October 9th or so, they're giving away gifts, and everyone gets a concession box, and you get to watch classic hits from Disney Plus. But, you know, for The Right Stuff, we actually got the premiere of the brand new show with a little tote bag. And well, it looks like every night they're giving everyone a Disney Plus blankie.
Wow.
How cute is that?
Amazing.
So, Disney Plus finding a safe way for people to get together during these pandemic times. And thank you, because that was so much fun.
Awesome. In a completely different direction, if you're not looking for scripted, I have a recommendation from Netflix called Deaf You. This came out yesterday. It was part of the Americans with Disabilities Act rollout that Netflix did that included Love on the Spectrum and Crip Camp, the documentary. So Deaf You is a docu-series, which is a fancy way they're calling it. It's a reality show. I think that if you liked The Hills or Laguna Beach or any of those shows, I think you're going to really love the drama on this. I think they renamed it a docu-soap because it is dramatic. This is a story about students at Gallaudet University in DC, which is the only deaf university in the US, I would say probably in the world. And the entire school is in sign language. The entire show is a cast of real life people, real deaf students. And it's a lot of ASL, so be ready for subtitles. But if you like that soapy drama, oh my goodness, there is a whole lot of relationships and people sleeping with other people. And then there's the cool kids. It's the kind of reality show, I would say, like that trashy reality show stuff. If you like that, this is for you. And it gives you a really nice little window into deaf culture and Gallaudet University. Also, like most reality shows, it's got a good looking cast. So I definitely recommend checking out Deaf U on Netflix.
I also just really appreciate that Netflix, as they continue in their diversity, is now bringing American Sign Language to the forefront, because I personally would love to see that incorporated more into shows. It's a beautiful language.
Yes, definitely.
All right, now for a bit of a negative. Skip. I know we just talked about it just a few minutes ago when we were talking about Huluween, Monsterland, epic fail. Really epic fail. This was billed as a series that was supposed to feature an assortment of supernatural beings, like things from mermaids to werewolves and dark angels or fallen angels and things like that. It's every episode is a unique short story. So it's an anthology series. Instead of the series as a season, each episode is its own self-contained story. But I saw no supernatural monsters or elements, really. There's hints. You get like a moment of something in a 1 hour episode where like the actual horror is real life drama about how bad our healthcare system is, or how hard it is for a single mother to provide for her family. And so if you're looking just for real life drama and to be depressed about the world around us, great. If you were going into Monsterland thinking that this was a Halloween show that was going to be full of spooks and frights and thrills and nah, that's not what Monsterland is. I think they need to change the entire marketing campaign.
So the monster is reality. Be aware.
Yeah.
Well, I think that should take us right into our headlines and announcements for this week. I'll start us off with Amazon because they have launched a welcome to Blumhouse. That's right. They have teamed up with Blumhouse for 4 films that are in a contained, mysterious virtual home to uncover and explore its secrets. You can RSVP at welcometoblumhouse.com, and you can secure tickets to see these live shows that they're doing on the 16th and 17th. There are 2 different shows, but they have some movies coming out in this. We have 4 of them. They are Nocturne, Black Box, Evil Eye, and The Lie. Plus, and this is the big announcement here from Blumhouse and Amazon, The Craft Legacies. That's right. If you grew up in the 90s and were obsessed with The Craft, like I was, on the 28th, The Craft Legacies will become available on Amazon.
Awesome. Well, bringing us over to Apple TV Plus, The Morning Show, a show that I was absolutely obsessed with and blown away by last year, scrapped their entire season 2 plan due to this pandemic and rewrote the entire show. And now they're going back into production and have officially confirmed that Steve Carell is returning for season 2. Awesome.
Yeah, so excited.
Definitely. And I can't wait for more Billy Crudup in that show. So good. But over to Disney Plus, I have to fangirl and get excited about this. This is my thing. High School Musical, the series, has a holiday special coming December 11th, where they're just going to perform their favorite Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa songs. And they're putting out a soundtrack with all of this a couple weeks before the special even comes out, so you can be ready to sing along. And I am ready to have a Wildcat Christmas.
Let's take it over to HBO Max because they have ordered a animated series of Lumberjanes based on the graphic novels, and it's coming from Noelle Stevens, who you may know as the one who redid She-Ra and the Princesses of Power with Netflix. I love what she did there, and she also was one of the creators of Lumberjanes, the comic, so I'm very excited to see this new animated series.
Awesome. Sounds great.
Yeah.
Well, in the not so great news, though, Netflix canceled Glow after renewing it for its fourth and final season. I get it, though. Glow is a very physically intimate show to film, and due to social distancing and COVID guidelines, it's going to be a little complicated. But I would have been okay if they had just waited a year or two to film it.
Yeah, I know that they have tweeted a request to give them a 2-hour movie, and I hope that that happens.
Me too. I absolutely am on board for the movie. They also canceled Teenage Bounty Hunters. If you've been watching Streaming Wars, you know that me and Yael loved this show. Came out about a month and a half ago. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. But I'm going to warn you now, it ends on such a cliffhanger that we are never going to get the answers to. And I'm very bummed out.
Yeah, this was a show that snuck up on everybody. I remember discovering it. I remember we talked about it here and then telling people, I know it sounds crazy, but this is the show to watch. And everyone has seen it, has loved it. It was in the top 10 on Netflix for a while. And so it's very heartbreaking that they are not going to keep going.
Yes, absolutely. But on a more uplifting note, still a little sad though, we finally have a date for Chadwick Boseman's final performance. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom will drop on Netflix on December 18th. It's a end of the year Christmas gift to us all. We get one final bow from Chadwick. And personally, I'm really looking forward to this movie.
Absolutely.
Also, big Godzilla news for those of you that like the Godzilla films and franchise. There is an anime series coming to Netflix all about Godzilla, everyone's favorite lizard that destroys everything. I know he's much more than a lizard, but that's what I got. Also, something that makes me as excited as High School Musical, The Princess Switch. This is part of a series of Christmas movies that Vanessa Hudgens has created with Netflix. Last year was The Night Before Christmas. The Princess Switch came out in 2018. This year in 2020, we're getting the sequel, The Princess Switch Switched Again. But Netflix has confirmed that The Princess Switch 3 is happening. It will be filming later on this year, I believe, in Iceland. And Vanessa Hudgens is returning.
I love that on our Halloween special, you are so excited to tell us about everything we can look forward to in Christmas.
That's what I got. I'm a Christmas person. I'm sorry. I tried, guys. I got a little Halloween background for you all. But, you know, Christmas just has my heart. What can I say?
That's okay. I love Halloween enough for the both of us. So thank you everybody for joining us for our Halloween special here on Streaming Wars. Don't forget to subscribe to that hashtag show, and we will see you next week for more. Bye.
Thanks for joining us.